What I'm going to do to start is I'm going to go ahead and start by switching over to our computer screen. I'm going to show you a few things. Michael's going to finish getting his patch area, make sure it's all set and ready to go, and then we're going to show you how to make some patches. So you're going to see us disappear for a moment, and you should see our screen pop up. Now, what you're looking at here is the Colman and Company website. So everything that we're talking about here, everything that we're showing is available in the patch page for Colman and Company. So you'll see some other videos there as well and instructions. You've got to us through our CAS webinars page. So Custom Apparel Startups webinars. There's others coming, so please feel free to visit this as often as you like to see new ones. We have new ones getting added every week. Another thing to mention is our Custom Apparel Startups Facebook page. So you can search Custom Apparel Startups on the top of your Facebook and ask to join the group. Looks like we're about to turn 1,400 members since we started this group. And it's just a whole bunch of people just like you who are either already own equipment, are looking to expand their business, or already have established businesses that just want to be able to communicate with other people in similar situations. So ask us questions, ask questions to the community, take a look at different articles, and all things that have to do with the custom apparel business. And the next thing that we talk about is the Custom Apparel Startups podcast. If you haven't listened yet or heard of this yet, this is a great way to work on your business, which was actually the title of our last episode, was working on your business instead of in your business. So that one was about just about how to make your business better and how to grow your business. We also talk about wasting money on marketing, not tripping over pennies or worrying about pennies when you could be making more dollars, all different types of things. And none of these are sales pitches. It is all about you and your custom apparel business and how to make it better. So we've created that for you. So that's in a nutshell of everything that we have that we try to bring to you in addition to these webinars. So now that looks like, Michael, you're all set?
I am set.
Okay, he was running around. I don't know what he was doing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera back on, and we are going to start learning how to make patches. And I'm going to get behind the camera, and I'll do the camera work. So I'll get close up when Michael asks me to, or whatever we need to give you guys the best experience possible. And I'll also jump on and answer any questions. So the screen is going off, and the camera is going on.
People can now see me.
They can see everything that you're doing, so
Okay.
Be careful. All right, and I'm going to go away, so I'll see you folks soon.
And there's a bleep feature, right? Any curse words?
Yes. All of that, it's all taken care of in post-editing. Don't worry about it.
Sounds good. Hi, welcome everybody. Making patches. Some of you, you may have gotten my autograph 8x10 glossy that I send out, very famous on YouTube. It's very difficult to be at a hotel, in an elevator. People see me, recognize me. No, I'm kidding. Anyhow, let's get back to it. What do we do? Patches. Best way that we know how to make a patch is to use a polyester material. Polyester has got a feature about it that cotton doesn't have, any other natural fiber doesn't have. This is a synthetic fiber, man-made. This material melts when you apply a hot tool to it with a sharp cutting edge, just like what you see in this hot knife. Basically, you're looking at cutting the material to cauterize and seal the edge of this patch so that it doesn't come undone, it doesn't unravel. Best way to keep it together is to use heat. Some people use glue, some people use a lighter. We think a hot knife is the most effective way to do it. Now let's get right into it. There are about 4 different components of making a patch. First off is your polyester material, your synthetic material. The color of this material becomes the background color that's inside the patch. So you're not sewing all that out. This is already done for you. We call this patch matte, also known as patch material. We kind of keep it as simple as we can. It comes in 10 different colors. We also offer what's called patch twill material. That is also a polyester. That was also designed to help us with our patches. Comes in 35 different colors. This is the most popular style that we sell, the patch matte. Now, those components.
And another thing to mention about that, it's really hard to tell, and you can see a little bit how there's a bit of a sheen to it, but when you look close at these, you can really see the
It's like
pattern,
It's a
the
pattern.
weave and the pattern in it, which looks embroidered. It looks
It
like
looks like it's a fill pattern.
stitch, yeah.
Very nice. Now let's get back to those components. I want to just briefly go over these. Material coupled with heat spun glue. Very, very lightweight glue. We recommend that this goes on the back of the patch material with a heat press. Only needs about 5 seconds before you hoop. Again, let's go over that. Patch material before the heat spun glue, patch material after you add the heat spun glue. And we're getting a lot of glitching right now. Is that me?
No,
Magnetic
no,
personality?
I don't think they're seeing anything. It's just
Italian.
the TV.
I don't know. Okay. When you add the heat spun glue to it, it looks like this. It gives it the stability that allows your hoop to catch the material and hold it real well without losing registration, without losing grip. It's a very slick material. So patch material, you add the heat spun glue, you hoop. Now, there's another component called heat seal glue. This is very, very thick, 7 mil thickness. This allows that patch to have that iron-on quality at the end after you do your cutout with the hot knife. So, again, we're going to recap. We like to do a lot of recap. Patch material, put the heat spun glue on the back of it. You hoop the material, and then you are sewing it out, just like what you see. Okay? No other backing is being added, no stabilizer, no Pellon, whatever word you want to use for it. We don't use anything but the material and the heat spun glue before the embroidery process. After the embroidery process is done, you take it out of the hoop. You are now going to add the heat seal, the thicker glue, to the back side of it. You're going to seal all this bobbin thread with this heat seal glue. Okay? Now, when the heat seal comes to you, it will have a piece of paper backing. Most of the time it's attached. Sometimes it comes a little loose. It is a non-stick type of parchment paper. It just helps you keep your heat press clean, help keep your working area clean. There is no difference in what side of the glue that you use. I get calls every day. One side's a little rough, one side's a little smooth. What should go against what? It's just flat glue. It's just a flat sheet of glue. Once it melts, it doesn't care what side is touching what. But the glue is thick enough, you can press it twice. Pressing it twice means it'll be activated when you press it against the back side of the bobbin side, and it'll be activated again when this patch is cut out and you can go on your final garment. So we're going to move this way over to the heat press.
Okay.
Now, pull me out. Here we go.
Yeah, we'll
This
go
is a
like
George
this.
Knight heat press. This is known as a Jet Press 14. It's one of our favorite little presses. We retail for $4.95. It's a great little press. It's 65 pounds. It's got a great handle on it. George Knight makes excellent products, and they have great customer service. Some of the best we've ever dealt with. Good people. Now, what this piece of paper is, we call it release paper. We sell these in little 5-packs. We sell it in 50 packs. This is a reusable paper you can do 30, 40, 50 times before it gets a little crinkly, a little brown. But we use it. It's non-stick. So what we're going to do, we're going to put the heatable material in here. We're going to put our piece of heat seal glue on the back. We're going to press these two together, protecting our heat press because we're making a little patch panini sandwich, okay? A little heat seal glue and a little patch sandwich. So I'm going to come around the front here, and I'm going to press this down. We're not going very long. We're at about 330 degrees, and we're going to press it for about maybe 8 to 10 seconds. We don't need much because we're going to flip it over and we're going to press it twice. So we're going to spin that back around. It's a nice little swing away action. And we're going to press it again. We press twice because the glue really should get into the fabric. The best way to do that is to use heat. So this won't take much longer. We're just about there. All right, let's take it out. Let's see how we did.
And what people will often ask is, can they do that with an iron or with a much smaller heat press?
That is an excellent question, Mark. It's as almost if you were waiting for me to get to this point to ask that question. Yes, you can. You can use a hand iron. What is a hand iron? A clothing iron. It's what I have this nice looking shirt on right now. A clothing iron is a very small heat press. Where you want to put your setting on that would be that between cotton and wool. You put that in between cotton and wool, you're going to be about the target temperature of 325 to 330 degrees. That's ideal. You'll turn the steam off, You're not ironing, you're pressing. So you are the pressure. Okay, so that should work just fine. But heat presses are a very, very good thing to have.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if you're going to do that, there's a few things to consider. I would say one would be ironing boards are not meant to handle weight.
Good point.
So you
Use
want
a
to find a
table.
better surface. And two, if you're doing really small runs, great. If you find yourself doing a good amount of patches, just really consider and give us a call and say, Michael, what's the best price heat press you have because my arm is tired?
I hear you.
And you'll be happy because you can get stuff.
There's so many things you can do with
Yeah.
heat press.
Yeah,
You know,
and it's
grilled
a good
cheeses,
investment.
they work really, really well on a cold day, and we're getting there. Now, one thing I will ask you to do is in the future, when you make your patches and you stack them like this, it's best if you give yourselves a little bit more room. And I'm saying this to the man that's running the camera, Mark. He did these for me. He did a great job. But we want to kind of get them a little further apart. It's a little hard to cut properly. So what we're going to do is we are going to hand cut. Now, we're going to get a couple of these patches out without killing the others next to it. But giving yourself a little bit more space, you'll understand what I'm saying when I do this. We're not getting too close to the thread because thread does not work real well with scissors. But working one patch at a time is what we recommend. So now we're going to get into it.
I'm going to
What
get a
is
little
it?
closer
No
for you.
problem. If y'all recognize what's here, I just simply took a couple of 8x10 little picture frame glasses and I glued it together. I didn't have a real big heavy piece of glass when I first started doing this, but we learned that glass is the best surface to cut on. The hot knife works real well on the smooth surface, and it does not leave a groove. It does a very, very excellent job. Now, something else I have a dry paper towel. Now, if this webinar had smell-o-vision, you'd smell that every now and then. When I wipe this hot knife on this little paper towel, it's going to leave a mark, and that's going to have a little burning effect. You don't want to leave the knife on there a lot, but we do put the knife on it because we're going to wipe the residue that will build up on this tip. There's always going to be residue. You're dealing with plastic material. I'll even give you a real quick idea of what I'm talking about here. As I cut through this, you're going to see that the residue, that shiny residue is going to come up there. The longer you let that sit on there, the darker and blacker it will become. Now, this patch, not so much of a huge problem. If you were cutting a light colored patch, that residue, as it darkens and darkens and becomes blacker, it will transfer. So we simply wipe it off. Left, right, we wipe it off on that little hot towel, basically dry towel. So let's start out with this one. This is a fairly simple patch to take care of. Now, one of the hardships is I'm going to use a little white piece of paper here to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I don't know how close I can get, Mark. Are you able to get any closer?
Yeah, we can get a little closer.
All
Absolutely.
right. This tip is basically a point, okay? And if you look at it as a shoe, well, you want to cut only with the tip, only with the toe, not the heel. And how you address the angle of the tip to the patch, we want you to make it so that the upright angle that you see here, where it's straight up and down, is against the side of the patch. So I don't hold the patch or the knife upright like this. I would leave a beveled edge. You don't want the beveled edge. You want it to be upright. If you're a lefty like me, the side that's against that outer stitch is going to be straight up and down. If you're a righty, the opposite would be true. You would hold it like this, and wow, does that feel weird to hold it in the wrong hand. Okay, it says the right hand, but it's the wrong hand. So I would hold it like so. Holding it way down like this is not good. Holding it too upright is not good. So you really have to play with the angle. You have to play with pressure. You have to play with speed. I have cut more than 3 patches out in my time, so I make it look easy. Folks, it really is, but honestly, practice makes perfect. It was true when you took piano lessons. It's true today. All you're doing is letting the hot knife work right down around that tip. And when you move the patch, you wipe the patch off. When you move the patch with the knife, you're wiping off the angle. Now, do you see how tight that one edge is because it didn't leave us a lot of room? So you want to leave yourselves a little bit more room. Now, something else you'll see. The darker the material that you start out with, and did you see how I stepped around that corner, Mark?
Yeah.
I didn't go all the way around it in one fell swoop. I stepped around it. I've just learned that it works better, okay? But what I was getting at, the dark material will always leave like a dark, thin bordered edge around your patch. It's just something that it's the nature of this patch. But when it's on the final garment, it's going to look real sharp because that patch will get into the shirt when you press it down. And that's something we don't have. We ought to have a shirt in here.
Yeah, I do have a shirt for you.
Excellent. Because we're going to press this patch on at the very end to show folks how nice it actually looks. Okay, so I think I've gotten through the whole thing. All I did was just work that patch down around that edge, and I'm going to sort of break it out here, and I'm going to kind of purposely rip it out to show you that if there's any rough edges, I'll show you how to fix that up. So right here on this very little edge, there's a little sharp edge. I'm going to use the body of the knife right here, the barrel, and I'm just going to smooth that out. It gives it a nice finished look on any sharp edges. So this whole patch is ready. I'm just going to smooth it out. Now from where it started to where it ended, we began here. We have this. This patch is ready to go. It's completely cut out. It's completely sealed. The edge is not going to unravel. It's very smooth and attractive. Besides the glue already being attached to the back, you're going to press this to your garment for about maybe 8 to 10 seconds. Then you're going to flip the whole garment over, and we're going to show you this, and press it from the back side. Getting the glue into the fiber of the garment is where the strength of this glue comes into play. Okay? Now, something else I want to point out. People ask me, well, what about Velcro? Can I Velcro this patch? Absolutely. When you have your standard issue sticky Velcro, this Velcro material, I'm just going to pull off one of these sides. I'm not sure which one I'm getting, the hook or the loop, but it doesn't really matter. Standard Velcro that you can buy just about anywhere absolutely loves the back of this patch where the heat seal glue is. When you've got that in place, that is going to stay as long as somebody needs it to. I didn't iron it again. I didn't sew it on. The Velcro does a great job in staying on there, okay? But we're going to have this patch is destined to go onto the garment. So we're going to set that up, and I'm going to get this Velcro off. And like I said, it really loves.
Oh yeah, it holds on nicely.
You know what? We might want to leave that on there.
Okay.
We're going to use that in another video. We're going to cut another one out.
All right, so
We have time?
We definitely have time.
Well, I can rip through that one. Yeah, that Velcro stays on there.
So here, I'm
well.
gonna block your view a moment just to give everybody a nice. I'm trying to get a good focus on this.
Okay.
So it's got nice, clean, smooth edges, and then we'll show you another patch that we made in the last one with this same similar style and some different colors.
Okay. Now, is anyone posting any questions at all for us about any of the cutting that I'm doing?
Well, when you're doing the cutting, so you had said that practice makes perfect on it.
Yeah.
So, but how much leeway do you have for somebody who's a beginner? Are they going to be able to sew out 10 patches and hopefully sell all 10 of them, do you think, in maybe the first couple days they've got it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my history on this was when I approached the owner of Colman and Company, Scott Colman, with the idea, this was 5-6 years ago, about patches. The first one that I did, I really reluctantly, the story is I reluctantly walked down the hallway, kind of like going to the principal's office, and I showed him the patch, and his reluctance of me getting this project was fully noticed by the patch I showed him. It was pretty ugly. Now, about four patches later, I was running down the hallway showing him that this is a viable way to make patches. I mean, how long did it take me to cut those out, Mark? Maybe 45 seconds,
yeah.
maybe less than a minute.
And I'll tell you, the first patch I ever cut, I brought into your office, and you were just like, good job on this. And then you said, I would have done this a little differently.
Correct.
Where you can, so the difference, I say, you can become pretty dang good at patches right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then the practice is where you get the edges even cleaner and smoother and more perfect.
Right.
But
it really comes down to people just practicing. There's always a story at every trade show I go to where a lot of folks will buy materials from me, patch kits. Invariably, and I had a very nice young lady at the Texas ISS show just a couple weekends ago. She said, there's something wrong with my hot knife. And I asked her why. I already knew the answer, but I asked her why, and I explained. She goes, my patches don't look like yours. The edges are ragged. They're not straight. I said, well, ma'am, it's basically, I had to bring her down a little bit. I said, it's a little bit of user error. You really need, how many patches have you cut? 4. Well, I've cut 40, 50, 80. I've cut a couple of hundred. You have to practice. And this is how your patches will come out. This did not take me long. This is a great system to do if you're doing, say, 30 patches or less. When you have somebody sit down with you and they say, listen, I showed this patch to my partner, we need 500. Well, now it's not time to do it this way. It's time to farm that job out. Some companies still make patches 24/7. They'll talk to you when you have more than, say, 100 or 200 patches to do. They won't answer their call when you need 6, when you need 11, when you need 2. Small numbers, small numbers of patches is how this system works.
And really, if you've got, and another thing to think about is if you are in a position where somebody has a custom patch, like, even like that one you're cutting out there, and it's so easy to show somebody how to use this and get the patches working pretty good. Even after, like you said, you don't have to cut hundreds to be great.
Nope.
You have to cut, single digit numbers will get you great. That you can, if you have a big order and you can run the machine, you can have somebody come in, get another hot knife, get 3, and realistically, you can cut out a lot of patches in just a few hours.
Absolutely. The more that you work, the more hands, the better. Now, I want to bring you back to this patch I'm cutting right now. I'm cutting, when you have an odd patch, a patch with a lot of angles, I whip around the patch cutting the same angle until all those angles are gone. So I did all the same angles. So then I'll switch direction of the knife and cut the opposite angle. So I'm only really moving my knife a couple of times rather than continually left, right, left, right. You follow what I'm saying? Now I'm about to switch. I'm going the opposite direction now.
Now, how did you, somebody wants to know,
What?
how did you digitize that?
Oh, this is a great question for Mark because I didn't digitize a thing. I don't know how to embroider. I just know how to cut.
What about
Mark, you
me?
want to
Do
answer
I know
this?
how to digitize?
No, not really.
No, you don't actually. And
What are these things, Mark?
these here are from our new upcoming patch borders. So we sell patch borders specifically for folks who want to get the patches right the first time, digitized right, so they cut nicely. Okay, so what we were running into was that a lot of these standard shape patches, and we've got ovals and state shapes um, and police and fire shapes and such, but everyone was having issues digitizing them, and we went through a lot of trial and error getting the digitizing just right with a good amount of underlay and a good amount of just the tightness of the stitches and just how that satin stitch is put over the underlay and how it's locked down. There's a second stitch, and when you look really close, you can see if you have how we digitized it. So we sell those, and they're a huge help for folks who aren't great at digitizing.
They're a nice shortcut.
It's really great. So the way I don't know how to digitize, I a little bit can, but I'm definitely not a pro digitizer. I couldn't do that from scratch and get it perfect. However, because it's a patch border CD, I opened up our Stitch Era software. I opened up the patch border CD. I dropped in the text, and I was done in about 3 minutes.
Yeah,
So it's a
literally,
really great and easy way to do it.
It's you grab the border, you import it into your software, you add the filling in the middle, kind of like filling a donut, and you're finished. So can you add text? Absolutely. The borders are finished all already for you, and they're all available online at the Patch
Can we see
Materials
the
program.
little one that you just cut out?
Absolutely.
Nice and close. That one looks cool.
It's a good job. I didn't peel the back paper off yet. I cut this one deep enough and hard enough so that the transfer tape stayed behind, or the transfer paper. You definitely can peel it off. It's just a non-sticky paper that comes right off just with a little bit of effort, and it'll be a nice clean edge when it's finished. So all this comes off. It just peels off just like what you see. But the deeper you push that hot knife, the better chance that you'll get to have that paper come off clean, or it can come off during the process like these. So,
Yeah, and you can actually, and you could deliver that to your customer how you would like.
Correct.
If you would like to protect that glue on the back and keep it clean and all that, you can deliver it where you could just tell them, hey, peel it off, stick it to a shirt, and they can iron it on themselves.
You know, exactly. Now, what question I get a lot at when I go to trade shows or when I get someone online, they ask, well, I've never sold patches before. How can I go about doing it? It's easy. Beyond you buying the kit and getting better at it, when you do somebody's shirt job, put one of their patches, their logo on a patch. Give it to them for free. And when they ask what it's for, say, oh, it's just letting you know that we market to patches. We sell patches. So your logo would look like this on a patch. So if that helps you sell, trust me, it does. You'll be very successful in making patches very quickly. So we're going to press this on a shirt?
Yeah, let's do it. The
Let's
shirt's
do it.
right over there.
All right, I've got a shirt. We're going to come around the end of the table.
I hope the folks at home aren't seeing it, but we're having a really weird TV issue over here on this giant monitor. You're seeing
like-
that, Michael,
it's
right?
like-
It's
like
not
the
just me.
The Russians are coming or something like that there. You know, something's happening.
All right.
We're going to randomly just put these around. Oh, I can't put the Velcro one down. We're just going to put these in any place we want. It doesn't really matter.
All right, and I'm going to bring this over here so they can see
Okay.
you. And it looks like there are some more questions.
Okay.
So while you're doing this, I'm going to go ahead and jump on and see what we've got for questions.
Okay. I just put the piece of parchment down, and I'm going to press it for about 8 or 10 seconds.
So we've got another great question. Can you
Shoot.
embroider them on instead of heating them on?
Oh, absolutely, you can. Matter of fact, we've learned this. The bigger the patch becomes, the more our customers say we sew them on. Maybe not the word embroider, but can you embroider them on? I'm sure you can. Like I said earlier, I'm not an embroiderer. I'm not a sewer. I definitely know how to put these things together and cut them, but you can sew them on. Absolutely sew them on. And oftentimes that'll give you a stronger bond. But the glue is so strong that oftentimes the small patches you don't need to sew on. So that's very helpful and very quick. Now, those of you that were counting, I press this from the front for placement only for about 8 or 10 seconds. Now, I'm going to flip this over and we're going to press from the back side of the shirt, and we're going to press twice as long because we want the glue to get into the shirt itself. And that's where it's a little bit of physics comes into play. What you've got is you've got the glue trying to go through the garment to reach the heat press. So the glue right now is coming through the shirt as best it can, and that'll give it a nice tight anchor on that garment, on the fibers of the shirt. So the patches will stay embedded in that shirt real well through washes or anything else you want to do to it.
Yeah, and that's a thing where if you are, I mean, you probably wouldn't do a giant patch on a t-shirt or a
Right.
shirt or a shirt like you're wearing,
Right.
but you definitely would put a name badge style patch on.
Correct.
And the heat seal is just fantastic for that. I've yet to see one that we've been able to rip off successfully.
No, we used to have this ugly black shirt that I would bring to trade shows. And it was an ugly black shirt because it didn't matter where it was. I didn't clean it. I just kept putting test patches on it. And one day I pulled it out because the gentleman at the trade show was saying, well, how strong is it? I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, here. I had a shirt on display. I wanted that one to stay in one piece. I knew it was going to happen. I said, here's an ugly black shirt with 20 different patches on it. Try to get one off. And he did. He did get one off in the same material after he tore the shirt. So the glue is that good that it actually allowed the fibers of the shirt to tear before the glue would release.
Yeah.
Now, the only other thing I did do an experiment. I put a patch on a sleeve of a 100% polyester shirt. We soaked it in water for 2 days in a big cup. We put the sleeve in the cup, the patches on it. We were able to tear off the glue adhesive from that polyester sleeve after soaking in water for 2 days. So can they come off? I suppose if you really want to push the envelope. But typical wear, typical wash and wear, no. They're very, very well done. So this is how they'll look at when they're on the garment. They look like they have that marrowed edge that you've all heard about, and they wear well, they wash well, they're real nice. Do we have a couple more
Yeah, we
questions
do.
there?
All right, is the white Patrick opaque, or does it need extra backing if the patch is going on a dark shirt? So a white patch material
It's
going
not
on a
opaque.
black shirt.
It's not opaque at all. No, it's thick enough and solid enough not to be what you would consider opaque. I look at this as being opaque. You can see my shirt through it.
Oh, okay.
I would not, I would think that the white is more like this. It's solid white.
Okay.
We sell a lot of white
It's
material.
not translucent at all.
Not
you
at
won't
all.
see you
No.
won't see any of the black garment
Not at
behind
all.
it. It's a fairly thick material.
It's good stuff.
And it's about I mean, it's about as thick as that shirt, or maybe even a little thicker.
Mhm. Now, when those questions come up, do they get blocked by this little picture over here, or do they get to see the patches?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just
We are
wanted to make
recording
sure.
as well. So,
Okay, good.
all right, there's another question here.
What do you got?
Okay. Does the kit come with a sew pattern to embroider them,
No.
much like doing applique?
No, we don't have that.
Correct. There's not a sew pattern on it. What the kit is going to come with, and I guess we'll two different ways. So what's in the
Sure.
patch kit? The regular ones.
Our
There's a
original?
couple versions. Yeah.
Original. We do have probably about 7 different patch kits. The basic kit, and I'll see if I can show you just from the parts and pieces on the table. Imagine, for instance, a yard of the black material, or white, one or the other. You get a yard of black or a yard of white. A yard of the heat seal glue, the hot knife and the cutting tip. That's your basic single patch kit, our basic original patch kit. Now, the most popular seller is what's known as the duo. So, black and white, let's imagine this is my white material for a visual. You get a yard of each. You get 2 yards of the heat seal glue, and again, the patch knife and cutting tip. But wait, there's more. You also get the bonus feature of the added heat hot tool holder that'll keep your knife off your table in a real efficient way. So that's another patch kit duo. You don't have to choose white or black, you get them both. Beyond that, there are bigger pieces of material. Some would come with heat presses, so we go up from there. But the most popular is our patch kit duo.
And then, so that won't come with any software or digitizing or
No.
patterns. But what we have in addition to that is our patch borders.
Mm-hmm.
And we currently have 3 volumes now when this video is being made.
Right.
A 4th one is on its way. It's all completed and done. It's literally out in production, getting put onto discs. So we do sell them in discs. And we find that that's just the most popular way currently that our customers still want to get them. They still want to get the physical disc so they can keep backup of it. But those will come in a few different sizes, pre-digitized in the DST format. So, and these are the ones we're using right here are all on the latest one that's coming out, which is the name tags.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all specifically designed for name tags.
Absolutely. We're trying to make it easy. Pretty soon there are going to be motorcycle patches. There's going to be all sorts. If you have suggestions, let us know. If you have a need, we'll try.
And what is the difference then between the twill material?
Look, its price point is the same per square inch. It's the look. Patch twill, those that know any type of patch material, it's more of a matte look. It's got tight little cornrows, just like any other twill you've ever seen in your life, but it's a matte finish versus a glossy finish. This patch material almost has a 3-dimensional look to it when you sew into it. The words will come out toward you in a sense. It's a very unique way to do it. Not everybody thinks it's the best thing ever for a patch, especially somebody that might be riding a Harley. They don't like the shine. But everybody has just different strokes for different folks. This is the one that we started with. This is the one that we sell quite a bit of. But the patch twill has a more matted, muted look to it, so less shine.
And then do you need to use the heat spun material on both of them?
Great question. No. The patch twill material already has a slight glue backing to it. It's already there. It's already in place. That glue backing helps you keep the registration while in the hoop. The hoop has something to grab, something to hold on to, and it keeps the material from shifting. The patch material, oh, there's my little other piece of Velcro. I've been looking for that. The patch twill material, way back when we began, and I think I have the piece right here, came to us with a glue on it. After people complained enough, they said the glue was leaving their needle area, their bobbin case full of loose glue. It would sort of flake off when the needle was going up and down. We asked the company in Germany if they could remove the glue, and they did. And then that added a different headache. It allowed the material to shift while it was in the hoop. So we just came up with the idea that you add the very inexpensive heat spun glue with a heat press or a hand iron prior to hooping, and now it'll give it the grip and keep the registration. So this is good. This is needed on the patch mat. It's not needed on the patch twill. You can go right to hooping, right to embroidery.
Okay, great, great. Well, I will say that I've used this spun material,
Mhm.
and I've embroidered. I'm not a master embroiderer, but I've embroidered
No, you're
a
not.
good amount of times.
That's right.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
I'm a pretty good embroiderer, and I'll say that when you put this material on the twill,
Mhm.
it's got like a lightweight backing type of feel to it. So if you use a really lightweight backing, it's got that feel where it's still very flexible. However, it's almost like you could still hold it straight,
Right.
like a lightweight backing could, where, when the material's flat, it's impossible to hold
Correct.
up. So it's got
Yeah.
some weight to it where it's easy to work with,
Mhm.
and it hoops really easy.
Sure.
Really easy.
Sure.
So great. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off the camera and I'm going to go to the computer screen so we can show a little bit more of the patch materials.
Thanks for watching. Happy
So,
patching.
okay, we're still here. So
Okay.
right now you should see our Colman and Company site. So when you're on our site, you'll see a big giant patch logo right here. We've also got it under embroidery supplies, patch kits and materials for in case we move around those front ones a lot. So start selling custom patches. Here's a couple patches that Michael himself actually cut out. Those are pictures of patches Michael cut out.
Those are for sale. They're very expensive on eBay.
Those are the originals.
Yeah.
So when we come down, just a few things to see, just so you know what you're looking at. We've got first the patch kits. So if you click on the patch kits, you'll see what we talked about here, where we've got the patch duo kit, which he said is our most popular. Then we've got the white and the black patch kit, the patch kit with the heat press, and then we've got the patch kit pro. So if you click on those, you can see everything that comes with it. The patch kit HP is probably the best investment that we've got to get started. The patch kit pro is definitely your best deal overall for everything you're getting for the value. But getting this heat press really will step up the ability to do these patches quickly and easily. So those are the kits we recommend. Underneath here, you'll also see the patch border CDs, the 3 volumes. Again, as I mentioned, the name tag one is coming out soon. But here's the one that includes. I'll get this big so you can see. So here's our fire and EMT police one. So you can see a lot of standard sizes here, and they come in, as you can see here, 2.75, 3 1/4, and 4 inches. So they come in various sizes to make it really easy.
And they're all DSTs, so you can make those 10% bigger, smaller. It's completely up to you. So the sizes are almost limitless, if you could say that.
Yeah, pretty close. There's a lot to work with in the general size of those patches that you would go along with.
Nice
so
shortcut.
so here's where you can get started in the patches. Of course, under embroidery supplies, you'll see. Again, go back. I'm going to go back this way so you can see. I went under patches and materials. And then if we scroll down, we'll also see the hot knife. You can buy.
Hey, I'm wearing that same shirt. This is kind of embarrassing. I made that video like 7 or 8 years ago.
That's fantastic.
No, it's really not.
Awesome.
That's sad.
You own 20 of those shirts.
That's true.
So there's the hot knife. Here's if you click on like the patch materials, like our twill. Let's see here. Internet's hopefully we're good.
Mm-hmm.
But the twill material here. We've also got the heat seal backing that you can buy by itself. Under there, you'll see the heat spun material. Here we go. Now we're loading everything. So here's all the colors the patch twill material is available in. And we've got the regular patch material as well. So you can see what that's in. And there's a bunch of information on here on all the patches and how it works. You can see a step-by-step guide that's written. You can also watch the video that's up here. And you can also watch our webinar video, this one that we're recording, and you can see again. Let's see. We have a question. Let me see.
You move that mouse very quick. They're getting sick.
Oh, okay.
It's David again.
Does the Duo come with any basic borders, or do you have to buy the borders also? Okay, so the Patch Duo kit just comes as the material. It's not, there's no software in that. Okay, so the Patch Duo is a great way to get started.
Yeah, a lot of folks, David, a lot of folks already know how to digitize. A lot of folks look at, oh, I already have that. I got that with my machine. We don't want to force a patch border CD down into somebody's basket that all they need is the patch kit, starter kits, the basic kit, the Duo. The border package CDs with all of the basic shapes, the United States of America shapes, the police, fire, EMT, the volume 1, 2, and 3, those are all additional purchases on top of the patch kit.
And those come as complete kits. And we have more volumes, as I said, coming out. So let's see here. All right, can you heat press vinyl on patch material before embroidering a border and cutting it out? So could you put a vinyl material on that?
I don't know. That may have to be a nice experiment.
Yeah, we need to.
We recently got into vinyl.
Yeah, we need to do that. I have tons of vinyl handy.
Right.
So if you would like to, if anyone wants to ask us this question or any more questions after this webinar, you can go to colmanandcompany.com, and if you go on the top here, actually, I'm going to do this as well.
Hey, there's a spelling error on the website.
No, that's not
There
true.
is. It's true.
Okay, so let's open up this chat. I'm going to put something in the chat right here. So
Kurt had a good question, but it's definitely something I'd like to try.
yeah, we're going to find that up. I mean, my initial guess is going to be yes.
Okay.
Because we're working with a polyester material and we're working with vinyl that works on polyester.
Right.
So my first guess is going to be yes. Will the opaque material look good on patch material?
Sure.
Will the effect or the stitching of it not be as appealing? I don't know, but that's also going to be up to
a little sideline. Those that might sublimate, the material's polyester, the white patch material, the white patch twill material, they're all sublimatable. Is that a word?
Yeah,
sublimatable.
It sounds like a word.
Yes, they are. We just coined that.
So
word.
you could take the patch material. You could take white patch material. You could sublimate a design onto it, and you can cut that out and have a purely custom made patch that nobody in the world,
nobody in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So I put the link. If you see in the chat, there's a link right there to the Colman and Company patches page. On that page, on the top, there's a bunch of things. If you click on watch, that'll take us to our YouTube page. We've got a whole bunch of Colman and Company videos in addition to Coldesi, who's our sister company. So that's on embroidering and on using all of our materials and different products that we sell. We do sell like the cut and press, which is for making vinyl apparel. We sell the brush and bake, which is a rhinestone template for making rhinestone apparel. So we've got a lot of things and videos on that all. If you click on listen, that will take you over to our podcast. Learn is our blog where we write and post new and different things. Connect is Facebook, and save is our coupon list. So yesterday I sent out a coupon and we got some great response to it. And we had people who said, if I would have known there was a coupon, I wouldn't have bought that stuff 2 months ago.
Exactly.
I would have waited.
Yeah.
Well, we send out coupons all the time. So if you sign up, you will get a coupon. And you will get another one after that, and another one after that. And we don't go crazy about them, but we send out 1 or 2 or 3 a month, depending on what's going on and what you buy from us. So sign up for that, and you can help save some money. But because you watched this, you've got that coupon code that we talked about earlier. So I'm going to put that in the chat as well.
Patchweb1.
Okay, so there's your coupon code. And it, I believe it actually should be in caps.
You think it matters?
I think it might matter if it. Now I want to test that.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, if it doesn't work with the lowercase, you can put it in the all caps, and that's how you're going to work it. So the way you would do that is you would add this to your cart, and then when you're at the last page, you will see a section for coupon codes. Plug the coupon code in, hit redeem, and you'll see the price come right off your patch kits, and you save some money. If you have any other questions or you want to know how that vinyl turned out, definitely give us a call, and we'll probably do that in our next video.
Same bat channel.
There
Same bat time. Yep.
Great. Well, if you need to come again and watch it, I'm going to be running one tomorrow night, the same webinar though. So that's on the CAS webinars page. So as you can see, we're doing a duel on this one. So if you need to come back or you want to refer anybody else to take a look at it that you think would benefit from it as well, tell them they can come tomorrow evening as well. And thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks for sticking around. I think everybody stayed that came, which is awesome.
Well, I was on the video.
Yeah, so
why would
they got
leave?
world famous.
Yeah.
Another question popped up just before we disconnected. Hopefully it's a good one. Thank you. Very helpful. So
Thank you, David.
yeah,
We
thank
appreciate you being here.
We do appreciate you. And again, just call us or email us. You can catch us on our website if you have more questions. And we're happy to help you be successful making patches.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.